Joining me now, I've got probably one of the busiest people in the country, I would imagine, at the moment, Dr. Timoti Te Moke, best-selling author, doctor, running around doing press and everything for the new book. First of all, kia ora, how are you?
Kia ora. Very well, Paul. Thank you.
How are you finding your time at the moment, juggling between the work that you're doing at Middlemore versus the press tour and everything like that?
Yeah, it's things are pretty tight. But we're managing to stay on top of it. And what can I say? Diet and exercise, mate. But also too, I guess having to do stuff that is vastly different from work. It kind of it's not as draining.
Hmm.
Because I guess I'm using other parts of my brain or something.
That makes sense. Now, for those that don't know, you are the author of this book, The Unlikely Doctor. This is the thing that's been keeping me up at night over the last week because I just haven't been able to put it down. It's been absolutely stunning. It takes us on a really interesting journey, right from when you started, like when you were born, all the way through to where you are now. Um, I've got a couple of questions that have popped into my head around this, and the first one's actually around the opening, where you talk about walking down the street, coming back from Middlemore. You're in your doctor scrubs, you've got your stethoscope and everything like that on there as you're walking down the street and you see a young kid across the other side of the road, and it's a very deliberate thing that you've done, so you can show people, that this sort of thing's capable. But do doctors have to buy their own stethoscopes? Is that why you take it home?
No, actually, I've lost a bunch of stethoscopes because I carry them home and that. So now I've kind of appropriated one of the hospital ones. The ones that doctors usually grab they can be quite expensive, and so it was costing a lot of money when I'd lose one. So now I use the bargain basement hospital ones, which are just as good.
That makes sense. It makes perfect sense. I think that story though encapsulates what the book is like, or what the book is about in a lot of ways. There to inspire people and show people that it can be done. One of the other things that jumped out at me in the book quite early on is you point out you don't want to be used as an example of success. You're an outlier to the system. I'm really curious how you feel about now that you've sort of done the press tour and stuff like that, and you've seen how well the book is selling. How do you feel about that stance of being an outlier as opposed to a success story?
I still 100% feel the same. Uh,
Mhm.
um, the, the thing is and this is where I need to be super careful for, because the book is doing so well, and I'm getting such good feedback. It's really easy to get caught up in that wave and start believing your own press. And I didn't write the book for that. I wrote the book for what I'm doing actually now, and if I allow myself to get caught up in that and caught up in that way, it's quite easy for me to kind of align with say um the old the current adage of what's going on, and particularly with this current government. All you need to do is pull your socks up. You just need to work harder. Don't buy those lattes at the coffee shop, and you'll be fine. And that we both know, and the whole country knows, and the world knows that that's rubbish. Um, and so, in order to not allow, I guess, people within those kind of environments to kind of jump on my bandwagon and go, see, if you just if you followed his rule and just picked up your socks, you'll be fine, and that's rubbish. And so I need to stay on this side of it and continue to know that I am the outlier, but I'm working towards me becoming the rule.
I like that. That's brilliant. I think one of the things that jumped out for me as well with this is there's a really strong theme of Kitiaki Tonga that comes through and the importance of that. Sort of from your very earliest days, for example, you felt that, and to the period where you didn't, and you started to sort of get a little bit more out of control, and you went through some of those really challenging parts of your life until you sort of came back into it. And I noticed it more towards the end when you're starting to do your work as a paramedic and leading into the study as a doctor. How important is that concept to you in your life story, and how important do you think it is for people to understand that concept?
I think again that is one of the core foundations that have allowed me to evolve in the way I've evolved. I could have, could quite easily have been at the stage become very bitter at the world. At the world had robbed me of my potential, and then just try and turn my back on it. But then, like I say, Paul, that would do nothing for my people, and it would do nothing for this country. And so I am at this amazing in time where I have this unique opportunity to help help this country evolve in the way that I've evolved. And I think that it would be actually really, really disgusting of me to how they say just turn my back on that.
Mm. Um, as I said to you before we started recording as well, this feels like a handbook for what not to do that we're seeing the government roll out at the moment around a range of issues, particularly around things like boot camp. The abuse and state care report gets a mention in the book as well, and how we're setting things up like that. Because you did the training stuff as well down in, is it Linton, I think it was, middle of nowhere, freezing cold place, and everything that I read in there, in my head, I'm going, I remember seeing the research that said that this is what's going to happen with the current government policy. We're taking troubled kids and making them fitter, faster, stronger. We're taking people and putting them into a punitive prison system, for example, and that's just training them up on how to handle the punitive prison system and how to get back into that space if need be. I'm very curious to hear how you felt actually putting that into words, and then how you feel the government is doing at the moment in terms of, are they listening to people like you who have been through these experiences, or what an audience might be able to get out of it, for example, who aren't necessarily aware of what it's like to go through something like that.
Very good question. And I think, I know, and we'll rewind the tape a little bit and go back to when I got out of um, I went to see my probation officer, and he said that I had the worst report to ever come out of CT thing. And the thing is that if something like that was supposed to work, uh, um, uh, it's obvious that it went exactly the opposite way when I came out.
Hmm.
Uh, and but here's the danger of it, Paul, and like because we get caught up in how the individual will be, like yeah, they'll get out, they'll be fitter, faster, stronger, they'll be angry, exactly like I was. But here's the major risk, and which I was very fortunate that it didn't happen to me. I was super fortunate. Uh, um, I didn't get recruited by a charismatic, forward-thinking leader
Hmm.
who who saw the talents that I could bring, the and align those talents with other opportunities that they could gather to help create a foundation for their movement. And that's what we have now. We actually have now groups with charismatic leaders that have resources at the moment that they can invest into young people coming out of those institutions that are young, fit, angry, and disciplined, and able to take orders. And then I said this on breakfast. You've got this government that's legalizing putting pseudoephedrine back into cold and flu tablets. So you've got an opportunity to create massive resources, mate. And now you've got a group that can not only protect those resources for you, but can help you create more and help you create this empire, mate. And now we've got this government, and yeah, I fully hang shit on them, man, because that what they deserve for coming up with these plans. But like the thing is, even if any predecessor government, it didn't matter which side of the aisle they were on, had put this rule in, they were like, with the amount of damaging reports coming out of this, they still would have said, "Oh yeah, but the good that come out of it." And that's exactly what this government said. "Oh yeah, but there's good things that have come out of it, and look at these good things." And that's what governments like uh, are really bad at. Like they're really bad at taking on responsibility for their failures. Yeah, and and
Hmm.
and they'll look for ways to go to minimize the really bad stuff and to keep going with those bad plans because they don't want to see as being stupid for making stupid decisions. And this government is classic for that. They are a government that has made countless and countless stupid decisions and are just fobbing off all the wrongs that have happened and going, "Oh yeah, but this part's good and that part's good," and so yeah, we're going to carry on. And I think any subsequent government coming after them, like if they truly believe in helping this country evolve, should actually learn from that and go, okay, if they make a decision for something and something just mucks up, go, yeah, well that was my bad. I am really sorry. Let's take it back to the drawing board and let's learn from people.
Politician taking responsibility for their actions? That doesn't sound normal.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is that of it's a bit of a tough ask. But the thing is that is the only way I can see our country actually making correct changes. And
Hmm.
uh, and what will happen, and I can guarantee this, mate, with these decisions like having these boot camps and having the ability to create resources. Um, this is just going to get a bigger problem, and it's going to go on for generations, and we are going to just end up exactly where this current government wants us, and the ability to do stuff like privatize prisons and privatize other stuff, because yeah, and that's what the end goal of this government is anyway, is to privatize everything, and so that's where we're going to end up, and we as a country need to wake up about that and start kicking these people out.
Um, you have a really unique position in that you've been through this punitive justice system, and now you're working in the medical system, in the health sector, which is another area that this government is saying, look, we're doing really amazing things because we gave you all this money, even though it was less than the rate of inflation, and they're cutting back and they're not hiring staff and all that kind of stuff. Um, I'm kind of curious about your perspective on what you're seeing happening in the health system as a doctor, but also with having that experience of seeing what, the same mistakes being repeated in the past and that coming through to how you see what's going on in health these days.
Absolutely, mate. That's a great question. And you're absolutely right. They've said, "Oh, we've given this money," but they've slashed and burned a heap of staff, a heap of funding, and given us back pitting. And already they like we see where they're going with this as they've gone and starting to roll out to have certain operations done private, because that's the end goal, is to make this a private health system, and that's when you get people like they do over in other countries where they've got private health, that the health system is totally private, dying because they can't afford their insulin, and that's the way we want to head. No, and it's where we are at the moment is on the precipice of that, and it's disgusting. We've got people lining up, like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning at ED in Middlemore on a weekday, and that's because they can't afford the $20 to go to the GP, mate. And so they will come there and they will wait for hours and hours, and then it'll get too late and they'll have to go to work, so they'll leave sick, and they'll take that home, and then the whole house gets sick, mate. And then the whole house is sick, and they lose the person that's providing the money, like for the house. And so then what happens is they come into hospital, and then it's just going over and again. Now the thing is that even even if we had private health, uh, uh, um, that wouldn't be able to fix it. And so
Mhm.
what that would actually make it worse. And so I think, well, I know that we are on this precipice in terms of health, where we will just, mate, we're gonna keep people poor and sick, and that's nowhere. Nothing, it's never ever been good for a country.
As a doctor, then, what would you like to see a future government do to fix that?
Well, we can't get where I want it to be overnight, but
Mhm.
my personal opinion is there shouldn't be a budget for health. The health starts as the main core for everything. To be able to learn good, learn right, you need health. You need children to be fed. You need to be living in warm houses. You need to have the power, and you need to have access to the internet. You need all of this stuff. And so, in order to have adequate health, the family needs to have a home, have have healthy food, cheap healthy food, have employment, have education, and so I think that the end goal for us as a country should be uh, um, uh, um, uh, gearing to a health system that has no budget, and yeah, it's going to take a while, but that should be our goal.
Um, Really interesting as well hearing you say that about healthy homes, stuff like that, because obviously when you were younger in the book you detail quite vividly some of those sort of circumstances that you found yourself in, where you weren't eating, where you were in a drafty home, mattress on the floor kind of thing, um, and that sort of was part of what led you into the path that you went down. Do you think the general public or even the politicians out there making these decisions understand that correlation between here's something that happens at home that doesn't seem necessarily health related all the time, so this is the outcome that people are dealing with or that they're working themselves towards because of this, the domino effect, as it were?
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct, Paul. I would, I would, I would bet that not one politician has ever slept on a street. I bet that maybe is going to uni or something like that. That they maybe lived in a drafty house in that, but I don't think that they had that there would be many ministers that uh, lived in a house that had a hole in the roof that used to just rain pour in when it was raining. I don't believe that they would. They lived in a house that had cockroaches or fleas. And so that for them to actually uh, uh, for them to actually go, oh yeah, well, I know how to fix this, is actually rubbish. The thing is that I'll give you an example of where of how that would be for me in terms of where I am working in a hospital. Like I've got O&G coming up, so that's obs and gynae. We do quarterly runs. We do 13-week runs. I'm currently in ICU. Love it, mate. It's awesome. It's where I'm
Mhm.
going to be. But in October I start in obs and gynae and O&G. Now I've done that before, like while I was at TI, while I was studying. I really enjoyed it, but I know that it's not for me because I find myself explaining women's problems to women, and I feel like a dick. It's like how am I ever going to have the correct understanding? Don't get me wrong. I think the male surgeons that I've worked with in ONG are really good at their job. But me personally, for me, yeah, I find myself explaining women's problems to women, and I feel like a dick. And so what I would always do, like what I'm planning to do, is when I get into ONG, is that um, anything and everything I would be deferring to my senior doctors, because again, I would need that guidance, and that's where I think uh, this subsequent government's fail is that they believe that they are the all knowing and they will make these decisions, and they will be the correct decisions, which is, yeah, rubbish.
I don't envy you in that position. I cannot imagine how awkward that must be going, here is a problem. I know the technical elements of the problem and I'm trying to explain it to somebody who's dealing with it, but I can't deal with it. Like I can't experience that myself. That would not be a position I would want to find myself in.
I've been to lectures, I've passed the exams, I've seen procedures on YouTube, but that's as far as I go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so like I need to pretty much defer everything to a senior medical doctor for a bit of guidance of that.
So you mentioned before ICU, you're in there at the moment. What is it that you're enjoying about that?
I think it's oh man, it's a bunch of things. The people come in are very, very sick. Right, I'm in HDU, so there's two parts to our ICU. There's ICU, intensive care unit, and there's HDU, so high dependency unit. So people are still really sick, but they're not sick like they're not intubated. They don't have tubes down them with ventilators, respirator, breathing for them and stuff like that. But they're still quite sick, and I enjoy understanding the complexity of this illness, and they're usually coming in with multiple different illnesses, and being able to go, okay, why are they here? Da 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 da. Okay, so what's the most important? This one here, then this one, then putting them into a hierarchy. Okay, now let's look at it holistically, wholly, and how we're going to manage this. And then on top of that, like it's a very procedural, like I'll get to at present I've been learning how to put in arterial lines, because we need the arterial line in order to understand what the pressure is inside the artery, because that's what guides us on whether or not we need to give them medication to help them with their blood pressure. That's what they normally come to us for, is what we call vasopressors that keep their blood pressure maintained at a certain level. And but then also too, I've had an opportunity to try out have a go at a central line. They're quite difficult, and I was very fortunate. Like I had a very knowledgeable instructor. However, I ended up having to hand it over to this to the other doctor, because the person I was trying to put the line in wasn't asleep. They were awake, and so we just local. I've used local, so there's a big vein here called the jugular vein, and what we do is this person, they needed to get dialyzed, so they had kidney problems. So what they do is they take the blood out, they wash it, and they put it back in. And they do it through. They've got to do it because they're moving a whole lot of blood at once. They've got to use a really big vein, and so they usually use here or one of the femoral. And normally, well, a lot of times, people are put to sleep. They put in under general anesthesia, but this guy's awake and we just use the local. So I put in the local. I've got my ultrasound. I've seen where the vein is. I've tracked it down, and I go, okay, yeah, that's where I'm going to run my needle. I've gone to put my needle in, and he starts looking around at me like this way, looking at.
Oh,
He's not looking like this way because he's not asleep. Okay,
mhm.
oh man, don't move, please don't move, stay that way. And he's going, yeah, okay, and I go to put it in again. He starts looking around like that again, and so I had to defer to my boss, and he put it in. But yeah. So hopefully, I'll get another another guy, and another try, and that patient will be asleep at that time.
Okay, I have two more really simple questions for you. Well, the first one might not be so simple. Who inspires you?
Oh my, that's a good question. Now, uh, I, actually, I haven't, and it may sound a bit egotistical, but it's really, I haven't thought of following in anyone's footsteps lately. Uh, uh, um, uh, uh, I did like, well, I still do. I admire Nelson Mandela. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. I think he was an amazing man, and he did so much for his country, and he suffered so much to be able to do so much. Um, uh, and like what I do is I look at a lot of different people, and there's certain aspects that I like about them, and I go, oh yeah, that would be really good to achieve something like that. But in terms of where I am at the moment, it was without any ego when I say that there's no one in this country and quite possibly the world that's overcome a life I've overcome and gone on to be where I am now. And so I'm kind of in a space where I I'm doing what I can, uh, but it's more important that I create and have the door left open for people to come through. And so what I've done is uh, and that's the main reason why I've written this book is that it wasn't for anything else other than what I believed I was able to do with it. And I am achieving that goal. Like this Monday, I'm going down to Wellington, and I'm going to talk to the Office of Ombudsman, and hopefully, after that talk, they're going to agree to recommend my book going to prisons and into drug rehabs, because that's where it needs to be. I'm really I'm ecstatic that people have gone out and bought this book, and people are getting a lot from it. But the people that it's supposed to go to don't have the opportunity to get it. And that's
Yeah.
those people, prisoners, those people in prison. It's those people in drug rehab. It's those people in Housing New Zealand. It's those people in WINS. They are the ones that need the book. They are the ones that need to realise that they have a potential that's within them that up till now has not been able to. They've not been able to realise, and it's not because of them. It's not their fault. It's because of the barriers that they've been born into. That the barriers that have been put in front of them that have prevented them from realising their potential. And that's what they need to understand. And it's those people that need to be able to read the book. And so I'm on the journey to getting it out to those people. And I'm starting with on Monday, starting with the Office of Ombudsman. The other way,
Brilliant.
I'm sorry.
I said that's brilliant. I think that you're absolutely spot on.
Thank you very much. And the other part is yeah, the book is selling well, so it's making money. I've created a charitable organisation, and what I've I tended to do is that 15% will be put into ways of assisting Māori that are in the same predicament as I was to help them realise their potential. But the thing is, Paul, you don't have to be Māori to suffer the effects of negative social determinants. It's just that Māori make up the greatest proportion, and that's through colonisation. But yeah, you don't have to be Māori to suffer those negative effects. So another 15% goes to non-Māori that are suffering from them, that need the support to help realise their potential. And the other thing though is like uh, I can't be free unless we're all free. Now I can't save the world, Paul, but I can start with one place. So 15% goes to the people of Palestine. And so what this book has allowed me to do is allow me to use the resources to help people and to help create uh, 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 help build the potential within this country, and hopefully utilize what we're building here is a beacon, is a blueprint that can be taken across to all Indigenous people, but then to all people that are suffering, and that's where I think my end goal is going to be is and I want to help this country evolve, but ultimately I want this world to evolve alongside it. Because what I found coming through this life is that, yeah, I may have evolved, but society hasn't evolved alongside me, and my journey does needs part of my journey needs to help society evolve alongside with me, and that's what this book is allowing me to do.
There's a story in the book that gives me a bit of hope in that, and it's when you showed up to a riot when you were a paramedic, and you're helping this woman on the ground, and somebody comes up to you and is like, "Dude, are you okay? We're not hitting you with the bottles or anything, are we?" I think that in a way shows, there are people out there who understand that positive impact that other people have, no matter what else is going on around them. A brilliant story.
Thank you very much. And then yeah, it was hard case, right? Like yeah, bottles flying everywhere, but nowhere near us. And then out of the crowd, someone runs over and goes, "Oh, you all right?" Okay, yeah, I'm good, man. And that's what I'm hoping with my journey is people to understand that that there's potential within them. Yeah, and it's not that they have it hasn't been realized, not because of anything that not because of them that it hasn't been realized. It's because society is structured in a way that prevents them from realizing. But what we could this country could benefit so much from it. Like in my book, I say, there's 19 other guys I grew up with. I'm the
Mm.
only one that's not dead. Now this country, yeah, and missed out on 19 other doctors because there was some that were better ladies than me and a lot more of them that were smarter than me. So this country, like, literally missed out on 19 other doctors, 19 other lawyers, 19 other engineers, 19 other scientists. And this country could have benefited so much from it. But the way it's structured, it chooses to go, no, we will not allow you to reach your potential. It doesn't matter if it helps this country. We would rather it this way. And that's crap.
And my last question for you is, right at the start of the book, you talk about how when you were about 6 years old, you went from this place of aroha with your grandparents to a place that was not like that with your birth mother. If you could go back to that 6-year old now, what would you tell him?
Yeah, yeah, I've been asked a few questions like that, and the, the thing is that the thing is, Paul, that it would be difficult for me to uh, um um uh well, not so much the 6 year old, because the 6 year old has come into this world and through a loving, supportive environment. So he's at that stage where he's experienced that for 6 years, and he's very open to it. So it would be to tell him that times are going to be hard, but believe me, you are you have the strength to survive, and you will survive. And not only that, you will survive in a way that will benefit not only this country but this world. Um, um, but then, like at 14, when I'm broken, it wouldn't be that, like, it doesn't matter what I would say to that 14-year-old, because I'm broken with. Like, and that's like, because I went to stay with some a very loving family, and they couldn't reach me. They tried as hard as they could, and believe me, if I was in a position to accept it, I would have accepted it, but I couldn't understand it. So it didn't matter how much love and support they gave me. It, I was so far down that rabbit hole, I wasn't coming back. So
See, that was one of the other questions actually I had coming into this is, I'm not sure what happened with Mrs. K in the end. Like, is she still around with us or is she passed?
passed away. It was very unfortunate. She had a stroke, and then she passed away sometime later after that. Yeah,
Um,
very very
did she
upset.
get a chance to see you succeed?
She got a chance to see me attend acupuncture and start acupuncture, and she was
That-
ecstatic. Yeah, she
That's
was ecstatic.
brilliant.
So I came back and saw her when I come back to New Zealand. I had lunch with her in the whānau, and that was good. Um, um, I felt like I really, I guess, um, really sad. I felt happy because I was, I always felt loved by them, but I felt sad that yeah, through all that love and support they gave me, I wasn't able to return it, and so that there was that aspect of sadness there. and it did. I got to admit, it did prevent me from going over as often as I should have. Yeah, and so I was yeah, it's just that I felt sad um, that I wasn't able to return that love that they gave me.
I think you should be incredibly proud of where you are now. I think hearing about your grandparents as well, they would be so proud of you. It is, yeah. Those pieces of aroha that have raised you, that you've got there, I think they are absolutely amazing. They would be incredibly proud. I'm proud just having a chat with you. Like it's so inspiring. But now I can
Thank
sleep at night again.
thank you very much, man.
It- where can people find the book?
Yeah, go online. Wickles and most nearly every bookstore has them. The publishers are really chuffed. It's the first time a first author has gone number one in the first week.
You
And
bumped Cinder off the top of the list as well, didn't you?
as dual feelings there. Like it's good to be to do that. To get to the top spot, but I like Jacinda.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. She's cool. Yeah, man. And so I felt a bit stink about that. But yeah, it's good. It's good in terms of don't get me wrong, Paul. I it's good in terms of what I'm able to do with it, rather than the I guess the big ego that comes with it. It's good because when I go down on Monday, it gives me that much more backing.
Yeah,
When I go down on Monday, it'll be that much more ears pricked up to what I have to say, and that's what's important.
that is brilliant. Good luck for Monday. Thank you very much for being here. I'm really looking forward to hearing what the outcome is actually of that meeting with the ombudsman. It'd be brilliant.
Awesome, yeah, absolutely.